Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Abrazo Football Podcast. Brooks and Blaine coming at you. As per usual, Brooks, my friend, how are you doing today?
Doing better, man. I'm just trying to have this fall weather finally hit Barcelona. Still today it was like got up to 25 degrees, so still pretty hot. How about you?
It's supposed to snow in Utah this week. Um, is what I've been told. I haven't confirmed or even looked at the weather app to see if that's true, but from I heard it's gonna snow. So we are. I today I'm winterizing all of my sprinkler systems so that the pipes don't freeze. So yeah, that's where we are. The opposite situation. I wish winter didn't come until next year. I thought we were gonna have a long summer because it snowed. It was like snowing in like April for us this year, but I digress. I hope fall comes for you before it's too late.
Thank
And that
you.
beautiful. So yeah, Hidden Girls. I'm wearing this shirt.
Yeah,
This is
there
from
you
Barcelona.
go.
You got this for me.
Yeah,
This is straight from the shop.
straight from
Uh,
Barcelona.
Straight from Barcelona. Speaking of Barcelona, Brooks, I mean this may be somewhat of a contentious conversation here, but when I say El Octavo, I think it's no surprise to you what I might be mentioning here, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your favorite player, best player in the history of Barcelona, maybe at least in the conversation of the one of the best players for Barcelona, one of the best players of all time. According to reports, Brooks, he is slated to win his eighth Ballon d'Or next month. Okay, and just for the people at home, just traditionally Ballon d'Or is the year, right? Who was the best player in 2005? Who was the best player in 2008? This time, for the second time, they are doing the season. So this is the achievements from 2002, 2000 or 2022, 2023 season. So at that point in time, Messi would have been playing his club football for PSG. This is not taking into consideration anything he's done in Major League Soccer, which, I mean, for my part, that might not really be a part of the equation anyway, if we're being honest. Like, it, there's like that would be like take. Anyway, moving on. Brooks, how do you feel about this? Eighth Ballon d'Or for the Argentine. What are your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts when you saw these reports with the rest of us last week that like obviously he hasn't won, but they say he is slated to win?
Uh, it's tough because there's like you could play it both ways. I mean, obviously he's had a great season for Argentina, or had a great season for Argentina. Winning the World Cup, that was one of the best World Cups I've ever seen. One of the best World Cup finals I've ever seen. Probably the best World Cup final I've ever seen, to be honest. Obviously, not a great season, or seasons actually, if you want to really break it down, in Paris, um, for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, like in the end, he still won the World Cup, which is I mean, which is at least now and probably for a very long time going to be the pinnacle of any type of football achievement. Um, and so I can see it. I can see why he, is being slated to win it for his eighth time. Um, but then, on the other hand, you have had a great club season by Erling Haaland. So it's just tough because it's not like Messi sucked in Paris, By his standards, it wasn't a great season, obviously. Still fine, still had a good season, still contributed, whatever. But I mean, that really, like, even he came out and said, "Look, I'm focused on Argentina. If
Yeah.
something that has to do with Paris cuts into my Argentina training, I'm choosing Argentina. If
Yeah.
I gotta travel and go to something for Argentina, or they want me in Paris, I'm going to Argentina. Like, this takes precedence over anything else that I'm doing for this whole season. And we saw that. We saw that, when he put his mind to it and got rid of all other excuses or whatever, like, he won the World
Mm-hmm.
Cup. This is his goal. He set his mind to this goal and he achieved it. So I mean, I think that you can't be mad if he wins it. Um, it's hard to be like, yeah, he totally deserved it, because I don't. I mean, I think that almost every single year, except for maybe a couple of Messi years, you can always be like, nah, or not no, but like yeah, he deserved it, but also so did so and so and so and so and so and so. So it's hard to be like, yeah, out and out, no question, this guy deserved it. You know?
Well, let me give you some counter arguments from a non supporter.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so here would be the case, right? Okay, so 22-23 season, he wins the World Cup in Qatar with Argentina. Okay, and he played his club football at Paris, right? Okay, so he's a teammate at Paris, right?
yeah,
So any achievement that he had at Paris, he would have shared that alongside the young Frenchman,
yeah.
Mr. Mbappe. They both made it to a World Cup final that went to a shootout to determine who the winner would be.
Yeah.
If we look at the numbers, Mbappe had more goal contributions in the
Goals
league.
or goal contributions?
Actually, maybe I'm wrong here. I'm looking at goals. Maybe not goal contributions, but goals.
Goals,
But
yeah.
maybe not
Okay.
contributions. Maybe not goal contributions. But either way, I mean, was it more contributions? If you could tell, if you can get the numbers on contributions, I mean,
Okay.
we could talk about that. But the argument would be, well, if you look at that World Cup final, I don't think anyone would argue who had the better performance. Who was,
Yeah.
I mean, like the game came down to penalties, so it's like neither person won,
Yeah.
but one had a hat trick in a World Cup final. The other one had a
Yeah.
brace, which is nothing to slouch at, and then I mean
Yeah.
there was it is what it is. But
So just
I
real
mean,
quickly, eight contributions by Messi, seven by Mbappe. 5 goals for Mbappe, 5 goals for Messi, but just Messi had one more assist. So it's really not
in
even
the World Cup, okay,
in
and
the whole World
then
Cup. Yeah.
and then like in, for example, if we're looking at club football, I think, I mean, I see Messi's numbers. I don't know if these are correct. This is just off Wikipedia, but he
All right.
had, it looks like 21 goals for PSG in 41 appearances, whereas Mbappe had um 41 goals in 43 appearances. So like, I mean, like not a comparison.
Yeah,
Over 20
totally.
more goals. But I mean, I guess the argument would be, okay, like what, like who, like what's the difference there? Like, yeah, he won the trophy. The World Cup was the trophy that he won with Argentina. Argentina won the trophy. But if you look at performances and you look at his contemporary, maybe people would say Mbappe had a better year. It like if Met, like just if you look at Messi as like the baseline and you're
Yeah.
saying he gets the Ballon d'Or, it's like, well, there's a guy that did everything that he did besides win the trophy. But like on a
Yeah.
personal note, that person had a hat trick in a World Cup final. If we're saying like
In one
obviously
half.
winning
I mean, it
I
took him
mean,
one half, right?
what,
He scored all 3 goals in
what,
a half. Like it was crazy.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
crazy.
so I
It
mean
just took
that,
him
yeah,
45
that,
minutes to score a hat
yeah,
trick in a World Cup
yeah. So
final.
that would be, yeah. So I mean, that to me is a compelling argument. Is
Yeah.
it wrong? Is it right? I don't know. Then insert other player, one Erling Haaland,
Yeah.
who completed a treble
Yeah.
with Manchester City in his debut season,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
playing for Norway, he wasn't in Qatar. He was, I think, actually, he might have been in Qatar. He just wasn't in the tournament. He could, Barrel could
He
have
didn't
been in
lace it up in
Qatar.
Qatar.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not even gonna pull up Erling Haaland's numbers because
Yeah, everybody
they're
knows it was insane. Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
They're insane. Yeah, the numbers are insane. The performances were insane. Champions League, Premier League, and was it the FA Cup or was it the Carabao Cup? I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember either, but the fact is it was a treble. Only the second
It
time
was
in
a trip.
English history, right?
Yeah, yeah. First time was United. Second time City. So, I mean, people might also argue that Erling Haaland
Yeah.
deserves the Ballon d'Or. So I guess to you,
Yeah.
I would ask you what has Messi done to deserve the Ballon d'Or? If he indeed does win, as reports
Yeah.
suggest, that says he deserves his eighth before one of these kids gets there first. Is my question to you.
Yeah, because that's a good question because it's hard because like you said, like he probably, I mean, he wasn't the best player by stats in his own club team, even, you know. And
Yeah.
not to mention that by stats, he wasn't the best player in club football, even close, you know, like so it's I just it's for me it's between it's definitely Holland if Holland doesn't win it, it would suck for him because this is one of the greatest single seasons that anybody has put together for a club performance. And not to mention Mbappe, he said he was only what was this 8 goals behind Holland or something, 10 goals behind Holland. The thing that I think that Mbappe has that's going against him, and I don't necessarily agree with it, though I do think the English Premier League is harder, is a more difficult league to week in and week out perform in because it's I don't buy the argument of like, oh, can you do it in a cold night in Stoke? Stoke can't. They're not even in the Premier League. So I hate when people say that. Like it's really ridiculous. But I will say the Premier League is difficult, harder.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I
a
won't
little
argue
stupid.
Oh yeah, if this was between Mbappe and Holland,
I would say Holland.
I'd say in Holland. Yeah, to me there's no argument there. So my question is just like,
So yeah,
since it's not, since they're
so
saying
to
it's
that
not
point,
Holland,
because
yeah.
why because it's Holland and not Mbappe. Well, why isn't it Mbappe when our reasoning for Messi is because it was the World Cup and Holland didn't even make it into the World Cup? So
yes, that is the dilemma that I find myself. And when I think about when I ponder about this, okay, it should be Holland in my opinion. It's not. It's Messi, and I'm like, okay, well, there's another person on his team that objectively performed better by numbers. If we're just looking at numbers, they both went to the World Cup. They both had what? How many goals?
5.
5 goals. They both had 5 goals. They both made it to the final. One of them got a hat trick in the final. The other one got a brace. It went to shootouts. Ultimately, the winner, it was like the winner of the World Cup was down to a coin toss. Essentially, it was a penalty shootout. So why does one objectively get the Ballon d'Or over the other when if you look at everything in a totality? For example, Luka Modric won a Ballon d'Or. He lost to France.
Yeah.
To France, where Kylian Mbappe had a brace, and Luka Modric won.
Yeah.
Fast forward 4 years, Mbappe gets a hat trick in final, but loses.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I'm
so
just saying, it ain't adding up.
Well,
it's not.
Real quick, I read
saying.
those numbers before the World Cup final. So to clear it up, they both had the same amount of goal contributions because Mbappe had a hat trick, right?
Yeah.
Messi scored 2.
Got that brace.
But didn't he get an assist or no? Maybe not. Anyway,
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know. To
your point, I just didn't want people to be coming at us like, because I read this stat before the final game of the World Cup. But anyway, I think that for Messi or for Mbappe to win it, he's got to win something with Paris or get out of Paris because nobody's going to give the French league any credit. And I'm not saying that they should or they shouldn't. I'm just saying they won't. And it's a French driven trophy, but I still think that he's not going to get it unless he wins the Champions League with Paris or he leaves and performs as well as he performs in Paris, in England or Spain or something. And I'm not even sure, aside from a couple teams in Spain, that let me not go there. But anyway, it's a tough one.
But that's the question. So why would Messi be in a position where he can win it?
I think that's just how much weight that people put on the World Cup.
But Luka Modric didn't win the World Cup, and he got the Ballon d'Or. So that's just in my head where I'm like, how can you square that? If that were the case, why didn't Mbappe get the Ballon d'Or when he was the MVP of the World Cup final and MVP? So yeah, that's just, I guess I'm just it's hard to square that because it's okay, he won a World Cup already 4 years ago, and he was the MVP, and he didn't do any worse or any the PSG has been the status quo. No one did any better or worse while playing at PSG 4 years ago than they did right now. So we can just say the PSG part of it, if we look at it, there's more goals from Mbappe this season. I don't know what it would have been back then for Luka Modric or what his impact would have been. But the point I'm making is if we take the Paris out of it and say, okay, we're looking at World Cup.
Yeah. But to your point, Modric won the Champions League that season.
Okay, fair enough.
17 and 18, I believe. 19 and no.
When has Modric not won the Champions League? That's a given. Which and to be fair, I don't know how I felt at the time. I think I probably most likely wanted Ronaldo to win, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I
Uh,
think a lot of people did, or Mbappe,
or
because to your
Mbappe, or I
point, he
think
won
at
the
that
World
time I
Cup.
was also
Is it?
riding. I think I was also saying like there was like a case also to be made for Antoine Griezmann at that time, which I mean, and get it. I mean, we know this is somewhat of a popularity competition.
Yeah,
There's no empirical like data. I mean, there is, but like no one's saying like okay, like there's no coefficient. Like if you have this many goals, this many assists, like you're in this tournament, that tournament, and like you
yeah,
got like a score of like 6,000. So like you are that. It's just like journalists and players vote for who they want, captains vote, and they're like,
yeah,
yeah, like Messi finally got his World Cup.
yeah.
We are going to give him the Ballon d'Or, like
But
kind of
that's the
like for
problem.
like a the lifetime achievement award.
Exactly.
Essentially, it's like we're going to give you this, despite like arguably like if we're looking at the data, like, there's a guy that was on your team in Paris that probably, if we're saying that you should have it, that person should have it because they. I mean, if we're looking at the numbers, they did more than you in club and country,
Yeah,
and like you didn't win. Argentina won the World Cup.
yeah,
I mean, you won it, but it's not like you single-handedly won the World Cup. Second, then you look at Holland. It's like, well, I mean, this has never happened. I mean, for Manchester City,
yeah,
first Champions League, first treble, second treble in British history, unprecedented numbers. I mean,
yeah.
it's just, I mean, it is what it is, and we're
So
gonna
then the
accept
question
that.
is,
Like, I
should there
mean,
be a club one and a country Ballon d'Or winner? Because I've heard people float that around too. Like, well, there should be one every year. There should be a club, a best player for club, and best over country. Because like Ibrahimovic was never going to be able to be it because he never makes the World Cup, and Holland's never going to make even a Euro. It looks like this season unless they get into the playoff and do really well. But
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's an individual award, and like there's that kind of nuance. But like in a non-World Cup year, maybe there's less weight
yeah,
on
you're right.
international
Yeah,
competition,
yeah.
and so only over 4 years do you have
Would you
like
even have that
the
problem?
stat boost
Yeah,
of the World Cup.
yeah,
But at the same time, yeah, like there's players like, let's just say like Lewandowski's and the Aubameyangs
yeah,
that like they're or Erling Haaland, like you said, like their national teams
yeah,
are never going to be or should never really be forces in any competition.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have the answers. Like this is what I personally think. I think the Ballon d'Or should not be a vote by committee. If like I'm not saying we don't take it seriously. Tons of people take it seriously, and it's a great honor to win a Ballon d'Or.
yeah,
I feel like there should be like almost like a science behind it, so we can like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
through data and statistics say like this
Exactly.
player objectively had the best season, not like this player like
Yeah.
was like
Yeah. Because
who
you
we
can weight
think
that too.
should
Like
win it.
AI can weight all these things. Like, okay, World Cup
Yeah,
year, more weight for this. More. I mean, if AI can like put together full on like papers and coding in like 10 minutes, it can absolutely weight this properly with
yeah,
proper statistics and everything. But to your point earlier that you made about being a popularity contest, like that's the problem that we have with all of these awards because like Mbappe was the best young player in 2018 World Cup. Modric was the best player in the World Cup in
player.
2018. But like he won the Ballon d'Or, and I feel like they were probably thinking, oh, Mbappe's only 20 or whatever, like he's gonna have his chance to. But no, like in my opinion, while Modric won the Champions League, Mbappe Mbappe still had an incredible year in 2018, and he won the World Cup and was far, in my opinion, far and away the best player in 2018. Not far and away the
Yeah,
best in 2022, but I still think he was probably the best player in 2022. Aside, Messi was playing out of his mind in that World Cup, but the big issue is like, I mean, it's the same thing with Academy Awards. Like Leonardo DiCaprio won it for The Revenant. I mean, come on, this dude should have won it for that's why to your point, like it was like a more of like a okay, we'll give it to him like a lifetime achievement type award. He should have won it. I mean, a number of times before
yeah,
that, but we'll not get into that. But yeah, like that's not what he should have won it for, though he should have already won before that. So I just feel like they get themselves in these positions, almost like refs. It's like, oh, well, I let this one
yeah,
slide, so I gotta call this one.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, no,
So
just
yeah,
make
it's
the
hard.
right call the first time. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, make the call.
Okay,
Okay,
because I
well,
sometimes this breaks. Anyway,
mhm.
yeah.
Well,
So last
ultimately,
one. Who do you want to win it? Who do you think should win it?
I personally think Erling Haaland. I
Okay.
mean, whether like I want him to win it or not, I like who do I want to win? I want Mbappe to win it. That like, there's my bias. I want
Yeah.
Mbappe to win it. Who do I think is going to win it? Messi. Who do I think should win it? Haaland. I think Haaland is the rightful winner
Even though
of the
Mbappe had a really, I mean, it was literally a a better finish for not a better finish, but his compatriot, the young dude, I forget his name, the forward, had the chance to win it right then and there. We're
Koulibaly,
not for an Emmy save.
Solomon Koulibaly.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
for a great Emmy Martinez save. Mbappe would have won another World Cup. Literally, it was an incredible save. So even with that into account, you still think, I mean,
Well, okay, so like in a world where
Mbappe won
France
again.
wins the
Yeah,
World Cup. Okay. I mean,
but he
this is
didn't.
where
So
it starts.
yeah,
This is where it starts to not make sense for me. So yeah, if he wins the World Cup, yeah, give him the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, give him the Ballon d'Or. That's where like the conventional like the thinking because like nothing changes from his performance. Like his performance is the same. It was Koulibaly that scores the goal, or Emi Martinez that doesn't make this. That has nothing to do
that's because Koumani had
with
the. It was a great
Mbappe.
shot. It was just a great save.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So that has nothing to do with it, like Mbappe's
Mbappe.
performance.
Yeah,
Like
you're
his
right.
performance would be great.
Yeah,
His like that's an all time World Cup final performance, no matter what the outcome is.
yeah.
He has a hat trick, and even if they lost 6-3, you got a hat trick. Like
In the
if your
World Cup
team let
final.
you down, and Dembele making bad passes for easy goals by Di Maria, I think it was. But like that being said, I feel like
Hey, let's not let's
me
not let's not do this to Di Maria's name. Let's keep Di Maria's name with none but respect.
No, that is respect. I'm saying he scored. I'm saying
Oh, okay,
Dembele
okay.
gave
I
him the
don't know.
goal and he scored. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm saying despite mistakes from the French team to
Oh,
give
got
Argentina
it, okay.
goals,
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with Mbappe's performance. But at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah, totally.
time, I like if I'm voting, and this is where like it doesn't square, and I realize I'm contradicting myself. I would say, okay, Mbappe wins the World Cup.
Right.
He's getting the Ballon d'Or, even though like it wouldn't have been based off of his performance that they like he gets the hat trick and someone else gets the game winner. It's like okay, like yeah, like in reality in this fantasy that we're talking about, like his performance was the same. I'm just saying
Yeah.
now you got the accolade, you should get it.
Yeah.
In reality, I should be consistent and say Holland should remain who I would give the Ballon d'Or for. But I mean that's where it gets tricky, and that's why it's like it's like you can't like if someone wasn't in the competition they can't be graded on their performance. Also, it's an
Yeah.
individual achievement, so it shouldn't really
Yeah.
you shouldn't take silverware and trophies
I guess that's the
into
best
like you
point.
shouldn't take team accomplishments into it. You should just look at your personal achievements. And I think honestly, like if I'm being honest with myself, I would say it has to be Erling Haaland. Yeah, but because I mean he did the individual, but he also got the team. But
Yeah.
like he also was the individual. Like no one else was getting goals like he was getting goals. No one else was getting like 4 hat tricks a season like he was doing that. So I mean, I honestly, my bias, I'm honest, I'd give it to Mbappe, but I would still recognize that Erling Haaland would
Yeah.
deserves it. And no matter like out of everyone that played this year, I think he is the one whose like numbers say he deserves it. And in any other year, he would deserve it. I dare say, if the roles were reversed, and like let's just say a Ronaldo or a Messi had the season that Erling Haaland had, and another player had Messi's season and it wasn't Messi, who wasn't named Messi, and they did win the World Cup, they would not win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. His
Like that,
name is Julian
I think.
Alvarez.
Shout out to
He's not
that boy,
even up
man.
for.
I can't hate on him at all. He's
Yeah.
a baller. But yeah,
He's not even
but
in the
yeah, I think
conversation,
that's
really.
yeah, he's not even in the conversation because it's popularity. But like I think that's
Yeah.
the easiest way to do it. Like if you just put this on paper and there were no names and you're like, okay, one player
Right.
won a domestic or won a treble with this much involvement. One player had a hat trick in a World Cup final and whatever. and another player had a brace and this much, and you just said, okay, which of these three players? And like, it didn't say like whether they won the tournament or didn't win the tournament. It's just like, here are their numbers, and this is what they did from 2022 to 2023. Which of
Yeah.
these three players had the best season? Which one of these three players is the best player? And you don't know who's who every time you're saying it's Erling Haaland. That like
However,
it,
yeah, I mean, but I know you got to go. But do you put more
uh,
weight because, like for example, Mbappe or Messi, for example, like they have more of than just scoring to their game. But I guess that's all that really matters in most people's eyes, right? It's just scoring.
well, I mean, I don't think that's correct, but that's what it is. I mean, if not, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
more people would be candidates or actually win the Ballon d'Or. Like the fact that Luka
yeah.
Modric won
You're
the
right.
Ballon d'Or is like
Crazy. Yeah,
almost mind blowing.
yeah.
But like, I mean, there's like midfield players that are better than a
Xavi
lot
and
of strikers
Iniesta, they
and
were up there, but they never won one. But Luka
never
Modric
won
won it.
one.
Yeah,
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 defenders. I'm sure a defender has won, but I can't think of
yeah.
one off the top
Kind
of
of
my
a
head.
yeah.
Goalkeepers, like all of
Right.
these players, like I mean, they objectively could be the best player in the world, but it's like, I mean,
Yeah,
goals, assist, playmakers, like
yeah.
not even playmakers. It's goals and assists. Like, I
It's
mean, I guess
goals. Yeah,
playmakers are
yeah,
assists, but it's goals.
yeah. It's goals.
Like unless you have like 80 assists in the season, like if Kevin De Bruyne did 80 assists in the Premier League, like, yeah, okay, give him the Ballon d'Or. But like you
Yeah,
could be in like, you could have 30 assists and 15 goals, and it's like, well, this guy had 30 goals, so
yeah.
sorry. Like that's more impressive. Like that sells. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, no, I mean, congratulations to Messi on El Octavo.
Well, let's say, I mean, hey, listen, it still got some weight to go. It was like,
Nah, he won. He won. He won, man. Marca put it on their website. If he, I mean, I think, yeah, he won. It's his,
yeah,
and it's all good. Like it is what it is. Like I'm sure Erling Haaland and the other by Mbappe will both have opportunities to win this unless Jude Bellingham starts winning them unanimously for the next 15 years. Shout out Jude Bellingham. But
yeah. Seriously, this dude's
it
gonna about to
is
win it for
what
the
it is.
2023 season.
Yeah. Anyway, uh, that's probably it.
Yeah,
We can call this one. But Brooks, thanks for having the conversation. Thanks for being honest about, what's really going on. Shout out to your boy though. Congratulations, Argentine King, Argentine Don, Lionel Messi, El Octavo. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
bye.